Boop. Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, April the 28th, 2021, and today's daily Bible readings come to us from Psalm 95, Micah 7, 8 through 20, and then Mark 14, 26 through 21. I'm going to take a look at Mark today, the text from Mark, and talk about this idea of a private audience. Okay, so y'all know, y'all have read Theophylact of Ohrid before, right? Yeah, because y'all just automatically know who he is. I didn't know who he was. I had to look him up. Thank goodness for Wikipedia. But he said something. He said something that kind of caught me off guard, and I had never really thought about this before in relation to the story that we have here in Mark. And it's a really little short snippet here in Mark where it talks about after they had their supper and they went out to the Mount of Olives. And I never really thought about it like before. And Theophylact points this out. The whole fact that they even left where they were and went out into the countryside, kind of out of this out of the way garden. But he points out this thing that Jesus led them out of the city and into this out of the way garden, as he calls it, a lonely place. And the question is, why? Never thought to ask that question. And that's one of the reasons why kind of looking at other, reading what other people in the church have said, especially the people that came before us, because it enters you into this conversation about the text that, and about the Bible that you never, they think of things or notice things that you might not have noticed. And it's like the benefit of this, you have this benefit of this huge conversation with all these people that went before you. But he points this out, and he said, did you ever stop to wonder why he led them out of the way? And he has this kind of interesting idea. Why not just stay hidden in the town? Granted, maybe not stay where you were, but maybe, go find another place. Or he's basically, according to Theophylact of Ohrid, this idea that he has is that Jesus basically took his enemies' audience away from them by moving out into this kind of out of the way garden that was outside the city and in going and hanging out there all night. Part of doing that, I'm not saying this is the only thing or this is the reason why Jesus did this, but it's a pretty interesting idea. In doing so, he took away the audience that maybe his enemies were counting on having by moving out of the city. And by doing that, there would be no crowds, right? And so there's going to be no turmoil. There's going to be no drama that could possibly be caused so that his enemies could point at that drama and that turmoil and say, look what a dangerous man he is. Look at all the trouble he has stirred up among the people. We've got to get rid of him. And we understand too, he has this conversation with the disciples, where he says to Peter, first he says, they're going to come and they're going to strike the shepherd and the sheep will all be scattered. And Peter's like, not me, because that's how Peter is. And he's like, oh, no, pretty sure you're going to scatter too. And then all his disciples are like, well, not us. And he's like, yeah, you're all going to run. And so he knows the problem with people. And I think it's pretty interesting idea that Jesus, part of his reason in doing this may have been just to take the enemy's audience away from them and to force them, to come to him in the dark and take him in this darkness and in this silence. So like Micah says, the text from Micah today is saying, do not rejoice over me. Don't rejoice over my downfall. And so he takes their audience away from them so that they have to come at him in the dark. They have to come at him in silence so that his Father can lead him up and everybody else to the light. So anyway, that's the DBR for today. Thanks to Theophilus of Ohrid, a great patriarch of the church. So anyway, that's it for today. Go out, have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Boop.